Thank you very much. I now call on Graham Day.
Presiding Officer, I want to begin by thanking Bruce Crawford and his committee for securing this important debate today, because there is nothing more central to the role of the Parliament than scrutinising on behalf of the people it represents. That's scrutinising the actions of government, in this instance the Scottish and the UK governments. And that, I think, is borne out by the participation of 5 different committees in the debate we're conducting this afternoon. Brexit has, as Bruce Crawford highlighted, raised a number of challenges around the exercise of this crucial scrutiny function. Before considering these in detail, though, I think it's essential we establish context. Brexit was not the choice of the people of Scotland, and we now face the most damaging form of Brexit that can be imagined, a choice between no deal or a very limited future relationship agreement, thanks to the approach of this UK government. The approach of the UK government is similarly crucial in considering the challenges we face in some of the specific matters we're debating here, notably UK frameworks and the Internal Market Bill, but also future international negotiations beyond those with the EU. But on the subject of approach, let me outline that of the Scottish Government to the topic before us. Let me be clear. We want to take all practical steps to support and encourage scrutiny by this Parliament and, alongside that, consultation with stakeholders. It may be we will not agree with the Parliament or some of the parties represented here on what all practical steps are, but with goodwill and the right intent on all sides, I am certain we can ensure that scrutiny is proportionate, balancing proper and thorough questioning with the need to progress business within the finite limits of parliamentary time. The Government and Parliament established protocols for scrutiny of the substantial range of secondary legislation already in place for leaving the EU. Now we must build on that for the new challenges ahead. And on Bruce Crawford's important point about resource to deliver that scrutiny, then of course the Government will listen to any reasoned financial ask via the Finance Committee from the Parliament. Presiding Officer, there are 3 immediate relevant issues facing us: UK frameworks, the UK Government's Internal Market Bill and our own Continuity Bill. The negotiation and agreement of UK-wide frameworks in devolved areas is a largely new exercise in the UK. The 4 administrations have had to create principles and structures to allow us to negotiate and agree common approaches to issues where we agree this is in our best interest. The Scottish Government and indeed this Parliament have always been clear that UK frameworks must be agreed, not imposed, and must respect devolved powers. We are now moving to the detail of individual frameworks and the scrutiny by subject committees of the Parliament of those frameworks. The proposals for scrutiny are intended to secure effective scrutiny of an intergovernmental process requiring agreement across all 4 executives and legislators. I reiterate the commitment of this Government to enable effective scrutiny by this Parliament of these frameworks. It is clear, however, that agreement of frameworks and proper democratic accountability requires respect and trust between all 4 administrations. And regrettably, recent events concerning the proposed emissions trading scheme framework again call into question the commitment of the UK Government to this approach. Presiding Officer, it would be wholly unacceptable and undermine the common frameworks process if UK ministers unilaterally introduced an alternative carbon tax regime against the wishes of the other UK administrations, and I'm sure that view will find support across this Parliament. The UK Government has, of course, already severely damaged the frameworks process through its Internal Market Bill. The many flaws of this legislation are well rehearsed, but it is worth reflecting here on its implications specifically for the UK frameworks. Put bluntly, the bill removes any need for the UK Government to agree frameworks if they do not like the outcome of negotiations. The market access principles will ensure that they do not need to conform to our regulations if they are different from those in England. That would also be true if the UK Government decided unilaterally to withdraw from any UK framework already agreed. There is no protection in the Internal Market Bill for matters under negotiation for UK frameworks, nor any protection for matters in agreed framework. So the Internal Market Bill does not only undermine devolution and common frameworks, it undermines scrutiny by this Parliament in the discharge of its democratic responsibility. The Scottish Government's Continuity Bill, of course, also raises new issues of scrutiny for the Parliament, as Bruce Crawford has set out. In essence, the Parliament will rightly want to examine the proposals the Government is making to maintain alignment in devolved areas with the high standards of EU law. The normal processes of secondary legislation will provide the Parliament the opportunity to approve individual exercises of the powers in the bill. But Stage 2 consideration showed that members have a range of other proposals to ensure wider scrutiny of the Government's plans in this area, and I know that Michael Russell is reflecting on those proposals and will listen to any further points made today as the Government considers its approach to Stage 3 of the bill later this month. Presiding Officer, Brexit has also focused attention on parliamentary oversight of negotiations of international treaties, and again the approach of the UK Government has shown clearly the flaws in the current system. The Westminster Parliament itself is excluded from any role in shaping negotiating positions. The devolved administrations and legislators are shut out too, despite many devolved matters being directly affected by the UK Government's position and the negotiations. This is clearly unacceptable in a modern democracy. This Parliament rightly would not accept such an approach from the Scottish Government. Why would it accept one from a UK Government? While the circumstances of Brexit are not of our making, Presiding Officer, as a responsible Government and Parliament, we must face up to these new challenges. We should be proud of the work that's been done so far to fulfil our duty to provide a functioning legal system suitably scrutinised and approved. And I'm sure that working together, we can ensure that future measures, such as common frameworks in alignment with EU law, are developed properly by the Government and rigorously examined by this Parliament, always with the best interests of the people of Scotland as our aim. Presiding Officer.